For Yangon,
वो टाइम पे उन लोगों की लॉबी मतलब वो टाइम पे उन लोगों का डोमिनेशन अलग लगा था।
I was looking at where Tiamba as well were playing. Given, as you said, they were in that top three. They were in a really sticky spot on the south side for Tiamba. I think that. Given, as you said, they were in that top three. They were in a really sticky spot on the south side for Tiamba. I think their fight through is going to be maybe the hardest at the moment in the lobby. We'll have to wait and see if they're able to make it work as Yangon Galacticos get out of there, get into the next zone, and they wait for this next circle.
Yeah, Go bailed on the fight. You can see them pulling back down towards the south side. Dopeness caught line of sight from the ridge as well onto Yangon, and it's Alula that are coming up around the back. That's the shift on the zone, though, pulling away, going back down south. Oof. All right, mate. Fair bit of water as well, cutting off a lot of the play space you've actually got the longer this one goes, John.
Yeah, I was looking at Tiamba, as I said before, and I feel like this is seemingly what I kind of thinking they should be doing here. Moving over to the south coast, maybe able to swim across later on, but a lot of teams that have already committed to the north side are going to be fighting for the hills around that E-Arena Ulf position where GOAT have just moved on into. This is going to be the focus for so many teams. So I feel like Tiamba, they're looking to play for a third place, but they have taken a knock on the back there. And this rotation is under threat, under danger. Eren is waiting for someone else to step forward to say, I've got the shot before they go for that spray. But Tiamba, if they could find cover on that south coastline, I feel like they might have a chance of getting fairly deep into this one.
A lot of movement as well. Yangon trying to advance quite quickly. It was AGAL that had angles onto him. Unfortunately for Eagle, going down to the zone has resulted in his demise, so he's cut out of the lobby. Maple also hit from the sideline.
The front bumper to take him out. The Wolves are going to chime back in though with, look at the damage pouring in on the Elim feed there. Goodness me, the Wolves want vengeance.
Yeah, this is getting messy, John. You had this back and forth game of nade badminton going on. I thought they were able to thread it through the window, but it's a near miss. The Flower H stays alive, and that's at the detriment of Yangon.
View, nade over the top, trying to get the distance, but not quite there. And this is the difficulty. They can't really take fights on two fronts, and Lufa able to expose one angle against AGAL. And now he moves forwards with a shotgun in hand. XZZ wants to find an answer, doesn't get the full knock, has the shotgun, but he's on a sliver of HP now, and another nade might just be all is needed. The healing desperately important for them. Across the road is Romeo now on his last legs, and AGAL are suffering.
Dopeness have pushed up hard from the backside as well and got into a good position to command respect on what they've realized is now two very weak squads. So if they can steal away points, it'll be magnificent for them. Smile falls for Yangon as well, leaving them with only one solo player left alive in a horrific position to attempt to defend. Fury are going out, joining 721 GS, so two squads now gone.
They are out of there already. We're down to 14, those recall towers shut off, meaning no players can jump back into the fight. More deployable cover. Don't look, Wolves, don't look. It's fine. Not on top of you. You'll be okay. They managed to get all the way out to the west side there. They had a tricky approach, and they're showing the scars of it as well, playing now on as two players alive. This east side will be chill for about the next 30 seconds, maybe, once RRQ settle themselves down and lose their player on the east edge. But with this circle, it's going to have to get trickier again. This has been so nasty for the teams out in the east to be able to make their way through. They have been on the brunt of these circle shifts.
Non-ship getting a bit of a look down towards the road. Meanwhile, amongst all this, we've seen another play coming out from GOAT. Killer Joe loves these early scraps. We've seen him be a bit of an explosive entry for the team. If he can open up a potential play onto his squad, he'll go for it every time. 4 elims just tied to him. They did lose out on Foops, man. There's a nice back and forth between Foops and Killer Joe and how they play off each other, but you've still got a ton of talent left alive on this roster. If you know anything about Go John as well, they're going to be gunning for a big victory here. If they can start it off with a nice bit of energy, feed the hot hand, they play with that throughout the whole day.
I mean, it would be a great start for them. A team that was in the contest to jump up in a top 5, a direct qualification spot. They want to prove to everyone at home, to their fans, to themselves maybe even as well, that they do deserve one of those spots, and here's the place to do it. Another knock over the top from a nade from GOAT. doing damage, suffering across a lot of different teams right now with nades flying back and forth. A close proximity engagement is not favorable. Arena were under pressure from Dopeness, but they handled it. Seems like they're doing okay. Mormon does get flushed away though, and hang on a minute, Arena may not be able to handle the pressure because Goat and AGAL looking to rock up all at the same time. 4 teams now on spot, and Dopeness up on high, taking shots, laying down the lead.
Oh mate, sweating bullets on the push in. Panic stations, and they just can't compose themselves to slay the Goat. Thankfully, Kenji with the sacrificial nade bounces it out the window and hits that one on top of Moxie to leave them down with only a duo in position to attempt to fight here. Awkward collection of players all amongst each other.
Tony K, nade, cooking. Doesn't quite know where these players are, and I don't blame him. The amount of chaos that just happened. 2 teams descending immediately just after another one crashed on through. On the southwest side, in the meantime, Alpha 7 do go down to Geekay. That southwest side is clean. Spicker moving on out. Spiker around the corner. And Goat will be able to hold him for 1. Moxie down, but will be resable.
Dangerous scenes though, E-Arena. They can smother blood in the water. They'll commit on the peak, spam into the smoke. They had a rough idea of the angle. And the bullets will find their target. Amongst all this, Alula have been scrapping up against Ulf.
Quick. Wanted to keep the pressure on. Ulf have been shredded down time and time again. It's just Eren remaining, the star player on the roster. I don't think you can call him young blood anymore. Tiamba did manage to get across the river in the meantime as well, Jackie, and they're on 8 elims. They've got 3 players alive. They're not looking too shabby right now, and they have an oversight onto this fight. If they can spot Alola on this roll-up, Eren may be able to take 1 or 2 of them down, and they may be able to shred the backlines, but it's getting away from them. The pace of Alola just a little bit too much for them.
I think that pace is the operative term as well, right? We've seen them be quite passive in situations where they have had advantages before back in the group stage, and that was a problem for them. So the fact here they're willing to actually take some of these encounters a bit more headstrong, it's good to see. Zone crunching in there again as well.
Going on top of the Wolves. They're on the north side with their 2 players remaining as Yangon Galacticos finally go down. The early powerhouses of the Elim feed starting to wane now. Yangon Galacticos go not quite going to stay the course. But Tiamba have a big opportunity here on that south side if they can push past Eren, get control of the hilltops. But it's Alola, their major competitor on that southeast side.
Tiamba starting their swimtation as well inside of the water. Ooh, they get vision on Eren's backpack here, so you're going to know. I remember from Olves, he's just going to peek up on the coast. That's a freebie. It's easy, John.
Yeah, Geekay looking for the shots from the high ground, but not quite going to land in time. And now the rest of Tiamba can look to suppress the position from the backlines, allow the push forwards. But Milu also under threat from range, but Alola chime in to keep Tiamba safe. Oh, a nice little assist, and there's the off angle. QZ, masterful hold.
That's really nice. Big response, made it so uncomfortable for Geekay here as well, so they can safely get out of the water now and look to try and splash back on this. QZZ, amped up today.
A linchpin position. Both of his teammates down in the drink. He needed to be able to hit those shots, and he did. Alola with the little assist to keep the players safe. But Tiamba now on the south side. Once Geekay have to move, which they do, their position is going to get a lot stronger, Jackie. At the moment, it's quite timorous because of the position of Geekay, but that is going to be pushed out by the zone.
Milu responds again. That fight does continue between the 2 sides, taking casualties amongst each other, whilst Alula are fighting E-Arena from range. We cut back over to the POV of Tiamba. QZZ, the off angle towards the back, been doing great work. Cover flares coming in as well to try and bolster that defense for Geekay.
They're just trying to put themselves right on the edge of this zone and maybe try and wait out the bleed down. But there comes the Wolves with a cheeky thread on an angle across the zone there. Right through the valley, and Kevin now has a little bit of trouble. Geekay are low. They don't really have the sightlines. This is an opportunity for Tiamba to actually move forwards and maybe look for the res, but it's still such a risk. I don't think they're going to go for it here, Jackie.
Don't have all the information they need to make the call. Meanwhile, though, Alula going big on the peak. Wolves thought they were safe, thought they had an opportunity to third party steal some elims from across the game here, but no, Alula rock up onto them. 8 elims, John, playing very differently right now.
Yeah, that's what you need to be doing here with those 8 elims, with all 4 of their players alive, the only team to have the full squad in action. This is the last chance, as we're on board with Tiamba, to get this res. I don't think it's going to happen. He will bleed out, so Tiamba playing with 2. That's pretty nasty. They did have an opportunity to move forwards and maybe take more control here. Geek helped out by the zone again as Nongshim Red Force on the north side get cut in across the road from everything. Alula going to have to move, as are Arena.
Oh, shots from the side, it's Nongshim. That's easy. Tizzy, good work done with the AUG. Saw the reposition from Tony K, setting up the vehicle, so they'll take the scrap to him. That's a 3-man squad there. Like you say, not a bad position to be in as well, with a shift on the zone. And they clean up, find the follow-up onto Joker. So E-Arena down and out, not the Rondo masterclass that we've seen from them happening here.
No, but 11 points is still very respectable, Jackie. They will be able to put up a good start to proceedings. Guaranteed they're on the front page. The question is, who's going to join them? Shots ring out, continuing to put pressure on Geek, who are struggling to march forwards. Tiamba don't have vehicles to their name. They are really still just waiting on Geek to have to move, and that is the first indicator that they are going for it. They should know that there's only 2 players over there, and Tiamba can start to move forwards now, and I need them to be able to do that, right? Something that we were criticizing them for was being a little bit timid, being a little bit shy, and so now stepping forwards at the right time, that's what they need to be doing, and it looks like that's what Milu's gone for. As the rest of the teams joust across the zone, Alula have to descend on one side of the hill or the other. The question is, which do you choose?
With the zone coming in, Alula on the rocks, being peppered down from Nongshim Red Force. It's keeping them very weak, making it uncomfortable for the hard commit on the wrap, but eventually they've got to push up. Going to be somewhat exposed here as well. If they're aligned in their crosshairs, they could punish. Thankfully, the map geo providing just enough cover for them to tuck in. And Tiamba, you touched on it before. When does that change, that mindset getting alive? Because if they don't start to get a bit of a periphery scan on the go here, you could have Alula wrap in around the back, possibly put pressure onto them, just remove them from the equation before they even try and make a move for themselves.
I mean, they really can't move until Ragnarok does either, which is the nasty thing for them. It is causing a lot of problems. They can redistro ammo for Tiamba, and Alula not going to push too far forwards. They know that the angles from Nongshim are still going to be in action, and they can't afford to overpeak to get a little bit too bold because they have got their numbers advantage, and they don't want to let it go to waste. But an opener onto Tiamba could open up their south rotate, and with the circle pushing towards them, that's going to help out nicely. But Nongshim look to strike to open the door for their crossing of the road and bring Alula back down to 3 with them.
Bated breath for a lot of our players right now, knowing how close they are to potentially kicking off the survival stage with a big point injection if they can take this chicken dinner. Add potentially a few more immolations to it as well. Milu and QZZ still scared about what could be coming out if there's angles watching their way. Nongshim have had a good understanding of the wrap that we saw from Alula as well. So the minute they pop out from behind that rock, there's not really much cover on the rundown.
Some really nice elim counts for a lot of our teams moving forwards. Tiamba getting that res could prove to be crucial. The knock sent towards Alula, allowing them a little bit more mobility. The lack of sightlines from Alula, not quite controlling. And they just lost another one. R3B on the back, really not going to be resable either. This is going to be a very difficult dash, and Nongshim will read into this. They're moving out already to try and control the ground around them and get across the road into some sense of security. But it is so few and far between. Everybody operating in inches right now, Jackie. There is no grander dimension on these really close quarter scenarios. Step one way too far, one step either side, and it's a completely different story. But that is a big pickup on the Nongshim to bring them down to 2 to stop their third player regrouping onto the south.
Every team starting to lose a lot of the battle of attrition here as we get in towards the fine margins of this game, like you say. Oh, Kike as well spotted out. Yasser with the reposition. The eyes lighting up for Tiamba, but knowing now the pressure's going to be put on them from Alula on the hillside. Never gets any easier, John.
Using those nades to create potholes moving forward, steps up for the flush. Now Alula can commit to trying to hold this high ground and try and use its position, the geometry, to maybe get a pick, but they're just not quite finding it. They're starting to wane now. There's Nongshim, gonna try and bear the brunt of it, but down go Alula, and a knock already over towards Nongshim gives Tiamba a big chance here.
Timid Tiamba no more. They start to play with confidence, knowing that they can take the fight to Nongshim Red Force. The squad that we were surprised was so far down the standings back in the group stage. Let's see if they can kick it off here in Survival with a big chicken dinner and assert dominance in the lobby. It's not going to be so easy for Nongshim as the nade blows them away and Tiamba take the opening game of the Survival stage.
That is how you change your story. Tiamba with a huge opener. They played from that south side. They read that they couldn't get across that river nice and early. They played on the south coast, a little bit of a bet hedger, but they did manage to get across the river. They transitioned at the right time. They moved at the right time, and that is the change I wanted to see. The question will be, can they keep it going for 11 more matches and keep that pace going? Nongshim Red Force as well, really well held on that north side. The angles that they were maintaining, they knew what they were doing, and it reads into what we were saying about them before, that strategic masterclass that we desperately want to see them moving forwards. They were, again, another team in the conversation for top 5 during their group stage. They were pushed aside just about. It was very, very close, and in a very, very difficult group for them to try and make it, but nice, solid performance coming through from Nongshim. A lot of the teams that were late into that game had a lot of elims as well, which means that nobody going home empty-handed.
Yeah, we can have a bit of a listen in as well and see what they were saying for themselves here.
Lovely arc on the nade. Keeping things nice and tight with it. Didn't even need to peek through. That earlier knock from Alula onto one of the Nongshim Red Force players as well, immediately before going out. That really was an assist in those final moments. But Tiamba, they kept their heads down when they needed to. We knew they could do that, but they also stepped up when they needed to. So I'm thrilled that they're able to take this first one.
Yeah, no, it's nice to see, right? Because we were saying before, they looked good, at least in terms of how they were approaching some of these games, but I think it was falling off in the sense that they just weren't able to commit necessarily with more of a cutthroat nature, where sometimes you've got to evaluate the risk and really just go for it. Obviously there it looks a little bit scary as well with the rotate. We lost Eagle as he went down to the zone, but they'd still recover. They get it done. It's all Tiamba in game 1, but let's see how it looks in the rest of today.
I'm here down at the stage for Day number 1 of Survival stage with Smile, the handsome man from Yangon Galacticos, to talk about some of the stuff coming into the Survival stage as a whole. And that is my first question, actually. Based on your group stage performance and what you were actually able to see in the group stage, now coming into the Survival stage, has there been any kind of looks at those results and seen how you might want to change some play styles, etc.? What do you think from the group stage coming into Survival?
In the group stage, we couldn't perform well, or we couldn't shoot a lot or with confidence. So for the survival stage, we will do our best. We will play with a lot of confidence, more aggressive. For the strategy, at the same, for we play with same strategy, we learn other opponent, practice different situations, so we could adapt during the match. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And actually, I wanted to talk bigger picture here for a second, because obviously you guys are the returning champions, and it would be awesome to see you guys get like the back-to-back here in Paris, even though it's a different location. So how did that PMWC win change your life? Obviously for you guys, I remember like looking at the pictures of the parade. You guys got invited to a load of things. So what was it like from the team's perspective?
Honestly, a lot has changed since we won the world last year. It gave us a lot more confidence and recognition. But at the same time, it also brought a lot more expectation and pressure. People started looking at us differently, and we realized that staying at the top is even harder than getting there. But overall, I'm so grateful for everything that came from that victory. It motivates us to work even harder and represent our country with pride. Yeah.
That's awesome to hear. Well, thank you very much for joining me here, Smile, and good luck at the survival stage.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, James, for that interview there with Yangon Galacticos. But it's all about Tiambas. We're joined by Hot Jukes, Maxman, Neptura, and the 7WG here back with you guys for PMWC at EWC 26. Tiamba, Max, they're finally showing up.
QZZ, your clock, let's go. No, I'm really, really happy to see Tiamba because, not gonna lie, back in their respective group, I was a little bit disappointed because back at PMMI, oh my goodness, they were bringing the heat. I mean, you and me both, Hot Jukes. We were like, this is the QZZ show. And yeah, group stage was a little bit topsy-turvy, but this rondo, by the way, keep in mind, they got 6 eliminations in the hot drop in Yulin, and then they dropped Tinlong Garden. The circle could not have been any further away from their loot location, and yet they still come out on top and get a win. That is an impressive rotation coming out from all of Tiamba.
Yeah, it's about damn time, baby. We see Tiamba do what we expected them to do all tournament long. Yeah, had a really rough group stage, but they come into this one, 13 eliminations, 2,300 damage, and we expected QZZ to be kind of like on top of that, but it was Milu here that was able to really clutch it up for a squad. And honestly, after a rough group stage, to start off so strong, I think it's gonna finally put them in the form we all expected.
Same with Alula as well, putting up a good amount of eliminations for that squad.
Yeah, it was really nice to see Alula come in. I mean, me and Max, we were all talking about it, be like, ooh, at the end there, you know, they had a really, really good position. They should have utilized it a lot more because they were having that momentum throughout the mid stage. They were looking really, really good. They came in, they took over the position from Ulf. They were moving in, great momentum, and then all of a sudden they kind of just were like, this is the high ground, we're going to keep it even though the zone pushes us away from it. Yeah. We're just going to sit still and let everybody else not only see us and get rid of us one by one, but actually get situated and have that time to make those decisions for that endgame.
Ooh la la, a little bit too passive. No, I mean, clearly they took way too long. I think they would have been great to see Al Ula after their push on Ulf. By the way, that push, Neptura, was fantastic. Yeah. Getting rid of all of Ulf in like literally the span of 20 to 30 seconds. Very quick fight. But then they just let Tiamba coexist with them on the lower side next to the water. I think that was a little bit of a mistake from Alula. I would have loved to see them rock up on their position as they fight DK. That would have been a great third party. But you know what? It's still a 16-point rondo. So Alula Club, sure, it's not the chicken dinner, but it's still an amazing start in the survival stage.
Great kickstart for that team. It wasn't a 29 elimination this time out of E Arena, Neptura, but they do end up getting at least 8.
They do. That was a really nice push from them as well. We saw them do some crazy things. Actually, they were on the east side of the zone, right? So there was a lot of teams over there. For them to get as many eliminations as they did, I mean, it was just constant fighting from beginning to end for them. You know, them as well as Yangon. I really liked what we saw from Yangon in the beginning of this game. I think it was still a very strong rondo for them, even though they didn't really go very late into the game. I still liked the presence that has seemed to be making a return for them. I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah, we're seeing some changes from this squads too. 2. It seems like they put that extra day off into work with the VOD review. One team that I think ended up doing that perfectly was Nongshim, especially with their rotations.
Finally, just committing to a play. Sure, it was not an aggressive play. I think they didn't really have to go for an aggressive play this game. But it's just they see Geekay in a really good position in the play zone next to that lake in the center of the zone. And I see Geekay actively rocking up onto Alpha's position southwest of that circle. Like, wait, that position is free. Let's not waste a single second and just capitalize on that opportunity and snatch that spot for ourselves. And that gets them so deep in that game, podium minimum, second place off the back of that Niptura. That is what I wanted to see from NSR.
It is exactly what I wanted to see as well, because we saw in their second day of their group stage, right? They lost that momentum. They lost they were finding the opportunities, but they were just being so slow to actually do anything about them. And that has definitely changed in this game. We saw them actually take those opportunities pretty instantaneously. And that is what we want to see from Nongshim Red Force. We know they can do it, and they've done it again. And it is going to be Tiamba being the match MVP, and Milu. Yeah, you were saying, Jukes, he's doing some great stuff.
Let's go, Milu. I mean, I think this is a good example of, you know what, sometimes, even if you are a top squad, you don't really come off the way you really want to sometimes, right? But you know what, a day off, I think we saw these squads refresh themselves, really start playing true to form here, and this is what we needed to see. We needed to see this, even there towards the end. Ula had the top ground, but at the same time, Nongshim Red Force and Tiamba were like, we want to win this game. Let's focus all our energy up top, take them out first, and then we'll see who ends up winning first or second place. And that is how you get it done. So good to finally see these squads make it happen. It's only been one game. Come on. Let's see some more of that in Erangel. More of that, please.
One game, but we're already getting a little bit more flashes from some of these squads of just consistent inconsistency, and I'm thinking about Alpha 7 because their squad was only able to get 2 eliminations. They need to make sure they pick it up here. One quick little shout out is GOAT team was able to perform so well in that one, being aggressive, exactly what we expect out of GOAT, but let's see what teams are going to be bringing it in game 2.
Thanks for setting us up there, Seven. Great desk as always. Very excited to get the insight, the narratives, and build ourselves back in before another game here. As the survival stage, tension much higher. Changing over now from Rondo to something a little bit more consistent, John. Excited to see what really is going to be, hopefully, a stepping stone for our teams throughout the remainder of the day.
Absolutely. I was excited to see Hot Jukes' boots. Those
they look good, right?
Looking pretty fresh, man. You know, represent Texas.
You know what they say, everything outside of Texas is smaller in size.
Absolutely, they definitely do. That's what I've heard anyway. The plane path looking pretty big though, from the middle of the map on the south side. Looking to lean a little bit westward, but nice and kind. Opens up most of the map for access, and no one should be getting into any hot drop trouble. But it is slightly reshuffled lobby, remember? We didn't really talk about drop spots on Rondo because it tends to just be let's all hot drop and then see what happens. But here on Erangel, it's a little bit more prescribed, it's a little bit more thought out and measured. So hopefully our teams have figured out where they want to go and there won't be too much conflict over zones. But already 3 teams out over Millie, as well as, well, maybe 4 teams out over military as RRQ jump out a little bit later on. Everybody else, I think, is looking to head further north and get to the mainland. RRQ may be looking for that bridge split on the west on the west side.
Yeah, it's more standard, obviously, what we expect there from Yangon. They've gone for this quite a few times in Erangel, very comfortable to have those military starts. Similar sort of opening as well for GOAT, so no surprises there. You imagine they can split off and wrap away. Like you touched on, rest of the squad's trying to get distance with those parachutes. They've done their training, John. They're A5 guaranteed gliders, so they can get to the mainland.
They've got the distance, they got the legs needed to get on their way. Yeah, GOAT team also dropping out. They will have diverted away from that. You don't really want to get stuck in, as I said, into those hot drops. Not a good idea, but that is a nasty circle. Goodness me. We were having some pretty nasty circles, very gnarly stuff coming through over in the group stages. Looks like we're going to continue that trend all the way out on the southwest side. Keeping a lot of Gatka, Quarry, that sort of area in, but this is not what you want to see to open things up for a survival stage.
No, we've been here before, you're right, man. Those group stages, very aggro was the circles we were getting, and similar scenario there. A lot of landmass going to be cut off, potential for the bridge to be in play as well. We'll see if that's a blessing for some teams or a haunting prospect for others. Obviously, we're dropping far further up towards the north side. We joined the POV of Dopeness early on towards Pachinki. Couple shots out of the window from Nikita, getting a read over onto Geekay. Pretty nice game 1 from them. So obviously, if you can punish early and slow down Geekay from actually accumulating point after point, would be the dream scenario.
And hopefully add those points to your tally in response as well. But right now, they are north and south split on Pochinki. So not super close to danger. Definitely it's disengageable here, depending on the vehicle counts that each team has. And I feel like in Pochinki, you cannot get stuck in too far here, especially with a circle like this. You have to look to disengage in these scenarios. The thing that sort of plays on the reverse side of that is that you are competing for the drop spot in the future matches, and a lot of teams find value in saying, you know what, we're not giving up our drop spot. We're just gonna, we're telling you we'll sacrifice our game in order to maintain this top spot, this drop spot for the next, well, they've still got 5 Erangels after this to play. I could call that into question. I'm not a professional coach, so maybe there's some reads in there, maybe there's some maths to do, but I feel like it's still very, very dangerous, especially on Pochinki, and especially on a plane path like this, where a lot of the map was just super accessible.
Yeah, I suppose it goes down to that individual decision making if they want to fight or not, or really what they're aiming for. I imagine for the viewers at home, you're going to be aiming to get yourself some beautiful skins as well. John, we've got a great event going on right now in game. I know you've been hyped for this one.
Absolutely, the Uzumaki Naruto event. Make sure you're grabbing those character sets, looking fresh with the skins, as well as that Ninetales org, looking pretty. Doesn't look like any of our players have the org though, which is unfortunate. And neither team really going to be able to take on the supply truck either, given that they're in a bit of a standoff. Makes things a little bit nastier to play from Pochinki.
Let the tension just settle here. Oh, nade line up through the window.
Oh,
it's a nice chip, John. Could have been beautiful.
Does manage to catch a little spray on the step across there, but not going to quite get the knock. And it's again just retreating, being a little bit safe. Like you said, deck of cards type play, reshuffle yourselves somewhat, but that is a nice little reshuffle from Ragnarok on the sidelines, able to get the side swipe, and GK have got their opener. Now, do they try and take this one fast, or are they going to slow themselves down again? Looks like they want to try and capitalize a second knock, and there is no way that they're getting those 2 players back up. Surely not, as GK descend from multiple angles. One is cut across, but it's not going to be the same story for the others.
No, it's really nice for Kevin. Beautiful predict with the nade. Pops perfectly. Reply back over, easy for Bad Boy cleaning up. So 1 by 1, Dopener suffering heavy losses on this. It was Makita that took a few pot shots over to the GK roster to start it off, and they went, you know what, you want to fight, let's take it.
Let's get it done. 2 players now left for Dopeness. Ulf did manage to rotate over the north side of Pochinki, and because this fight is taking place, it means that the teams in Pochinki, or if there had only been one, the team in Pochinki, has not moved out to the west side. For Ulf, this is pretty good news because it means that they have access to a lot of zone that they may not have done before, as well as a third-party angle. Leaving Eren up on the top of the hill, they could start to slow it down even more, and they're going to have so much information about what has been going on in this area. Eren doesn't even want to stick around for the flush. He gives up his position, and they're just going to back it off. And Ulf are going to be the ones to take down the supply truck from Pochinki. This is huge for Ulf.
Yeah, this is really nice. Cutting out a lot of that mid-game looting time, getting themselves hopefully some high-tier loot to play with off the back of it. Good comms on it, set themselves up, dump a few magazines simultaneously into the truck and grab your benefits from it. Alongside possibly forcing the hand of these 2 teams a little bit more as well with the damage done from that high-rise angle. Oh, Kenji, good for 1. The double up coming potentially as well as he spams. Safe G trying to peek back into it, shot into the thigh, stays alive. Makita on the wraparound has that molly through the window.
Oh, he tears the player step a little bit too late. May have been able to swing faster, but it's going to work out. Holding the ground floor now, and GK get a little bit too bold with it. Eren from the off angle rattled them a little bit, and they are starting to shake, starting to show vulnerability. Another big nade from Saf G though puts them in the advantage once more. 1 player now standing for Dopeness.
Kenji has the Bizon to play with. What can he do? Not too much there. Spams over on the side, but not enough to keep them in it as the nade from Ragnarok blows him away, and Dopeness off the drop. Exit stage left with 2 elims. But that is a detriment to Geeke, John. Even if they reset, it's only a duo.
Yeah, they do win the fight, sure. There was that third party coming through from Ulf as they wrapped around on that northern side. Tiamba now going to take up that mantle, but this is what you have to be afraid of on these hot drops. They no longer have prio when it comes to getting out to the west. And on a hard shift like this, they have lost too much time for me to really be considering them deeply into the rest of this match. Everybody else much, much faster, and we are going to focus our attention now on teams making that break out west. A lot of teams coating the west side coast and the south edge as well, near Ferry Pier, around Quarry. Yangon Galacticos, very much the back of the queue.
See if Yangon can keep some good energy rolling for that roster over the course of today's playdate. A lot of eyes on them. Now, two reigning champions in the lobby, of course, being Yangon Galacticos, and then behind that, Alpha 7 from the year prior, back in 2024's EWC.
Circle. Oh, no way!
John, what are we doing?
What is going on? Goodness me, a massive western shift on this zone. It is brutal. Quarry is so impactful here as well. It's such a quagmire of a position. It just sticks you down. You can't really move freely around it. So for Ulf, they may be able to take the ridgeline, but getting down future may be difficult. I don't think too many teams are going to be able to play around Quarry, and this is going to get nasty. The positions out on the west are difficult to hold, and for Arena, they need to regroup. For Wolves, they need to try and stay alive, and 7-2-1 are going to try and crash on in. Everybody on the south edge being funneled around that Quarry location. Oh, Jackie, this is going to get very, very dirty.
There's something in the air at this event. I don't know what happened here, John, but the circles we've had have resulted in some ridiculous games the whole way through, from start to finish. It's never easy. Feels like we're playing with 50% land in every single game. Half of it's always taken up by the water. Hey ho, we go again. Teams instantly crunching down, knowing it's only going to get harder to get into a safe location in the zone the longer they leave this one.
Yangon Galacticos just about making it past Quarry. Ulf actually went straight past Quarry, and they're now very central on this zone, Jackie. They're looking to play out to the west side of the road, towards that coastline, nestling themselves in and looking to maybe play a 2-2 split. Yangon Galacticos happy to post up around those Quarry warehouses for the time being, maybe move on a little bit further because you've got AGAL moving in behind them. Furia, in the meantime, trying to get out of Primorsk, playing in from that south edge. I like this this move coming through from Igor, moving one of their players around the headland.